What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Danny the Bull here with my homie Ron from Ron's Crypto Therapy. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Danny? Thanks for having me on like usual.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. How you been?
Business as usual.
Yeah. Um, Little volatility in the market today with Bitcoin. Do you attribute that to the FOMC minutes? What do you think, or just normal
Mm,
stuff?
Yeah, probably. No, I really don't look at I keep an eye on things, but I don't really worry about it too much during the New York Open. I really just check it out during the daily close and make decisions then and see what it, if I want to do anything. I didn't see anything concerning today. Matter of fact, you saw this morning people were talking about how it was about to go down, and I said it was like a little head and shoulders on the hourly, and it's probably going to bounce, and it did. But
Yeah, I see my portfolio coming up a bit. I did some buying today on the dip, but I want to welcome everybody in. Lots to talk about as always. It's been alts have been kind of like revving up again a little bit. A taste of what's to come later on down the line. AI's been hot. We'll talk about that stuff. Talk about Devve. Talk about Medicaid, and all the usual stuff. And of course, we'll answer some questions from the chat. And Russ wants us to start, so we oblige Russ over here. What's up, Russ? He's a good community member here. He wants us to start by talking about Medicaid because he's got to go to bed soon. It's his bedtime over there in the UK, man. So, you want to start with that? What do you think? And I'm more bullish on. I know, we've been fans of this project, and after the AMA last week with Russ Mcade, where he talked about specifically for me the new addition to the team, Jamie King, who's a former founder of Rockstar Games. I thought that was super dope.
Yeah, a lot to like about with that AMA for sure. And I've said the same thing with Medicaid for a while. When people ask me to buy stuff, I always ask them what are their goals. When they ask me what's a good buy or whatever, because that depends on what I'll say. So if you say, I'm looking for something that could gain a lot for the bull market. Medicaid is something popular thing for me to say. Not the only thing I say, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Tokenomics, there's a reasons why I say I'm not just drawing a name out of a hat here, or because I have some bias for the project or whatever. So that's what I've said for a while. Like it's just, yes, and I said it was it's ranging. You look at the last YouTube video I did about it. I talked about Medicaid and mask. I said, it's just ranging. I don't see anything that's going to suggest that it's about to break out. I mean, you haven't heard me say anything like that other than to say that it's just like a good DCA buy. But then recently, I said, I was watching what I was doing. We saw it starting to break out the pattern to the downside. I said, I think it's going to come down here and probably double bottom. As soon as it got down there, we watched it live on Telegram, hit that double bottom and see what it was going to do, started to reject up. I was like, yes, there you go. That was it. That was the bottom. Then when the weekly close came and it closed as that bullish pin bar, I'm like, this is it. Probably maybe the last time I buy Medicaid, so let me buy accordingly. So went in with a big buy right there, trusted what I was seeing on chart, and you seen the pump ensue.
Yeah. What are your goals here for Medicaid? Do you have like market cap in mind for it, or how high you think it could go?
Well, I mean, I'd like to see it hit $1 billion. I think that's possible. I mean, it's kind of like, are we expecting things to hit the market caps they did last cycle or eclipse that and keep going? So we'll just have to see. When it comes to this stage in the game, it can be hard to project out to things, and that's where the TA comes in. So I'm just going to trust what I see on chart, continue to do that. I've said before, I don't have any preconceived notions. There's not a guarantee we'll go to some crazy all-time, break all-time highs and keep going to a golden bull run. I mean, I think we will, but there's no guarantees of any of that. So I'm just going to continue to do what I see on chart, man.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? Is understanding that it's about probabilities and possibilities and not to get locked in on, one outcome and destination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just from my experience in crypto, there is like a price that everyone's calling out: 100K Bitcoin, 12K Bitcoin. Yeah. Saw some of these things for OMI too. If there's a price that the herd is like saying like I'm waiting for this, then odds are that price probably won't happen. It seems like all the time. So another reason I bring that up is because when it comes to putting out projections, sometimes that happens and they get spoken into like the fabric of Twitter, like it's inevitability. You see people post sometimes such and such price programmed in. nothing's programmed in. The market's a living thing. I say that a lot. There's nothing programmed into nothing.
For sure. So what are you thinking about short-term Bitcoin pre-halving? A lot of people expect a bit of a sell-off on it. Any expectations, or are you just reading the charts on the daily and weekly and
Yeah,
seeing what it tells you?
yeah.
It
I'll
gives
read the
you.
trade just so Russ can go to bed, just to finish up on Medicaid.
Yeah, let me pull back.
Just real quick, fundamentally on the AMA, everything sounded great. Their marketing started on the 19th, but they haven't done anything. I saw Russ update. He had said about that, like marketing hasn't even started. Nothing's happened to cause this pump or anything like that. Just a lot to like. The tokenomics of this on chart, it is at like a local resistance. So this is where I expected it to come before it finding some sell-offs. I do think it'll break through this level and then probably reach the more prominent swing high, at least for right now. When you get a strong leg like this, when it's all green candles, not really any wicks, closing on their high, when it goes into resistance, those are the kind of legs that should be able to break through it. So I think Medicaid is going to keep going up for now. And then when we get to that other swing high, we'll see what it does, how it reacts when it gets there. If it rejects hard, then maybe it could range in between those two highs for a little bit. But we'll see. But for right now, I like it to continue up to that local swing high.
Very nice.
But about BTC and selling off before the halving, so yeah, the market is going to have to cool off and have a more of a ranging period. I really thought that the healthiest thing that could happen for Bitcoin, excuse me, was that once we got rejected like 50K, if we ranged in between, somewhere like mid 30s, high 30s or whatever to 50, somewhere in there, and we did that for the halving, I thought that would have been an extremely bullish case for Bitcoin. Now, I do think we're going to go up and touch previous all-time highs before the halving, if I had to say. That's what it looks like to me right now. And then I think that we'll probably range there. I think it'll range there below the all-time high for a little bit before we eventually, hopefully, break that and continue up. Because that's when the real big gains come. If future cycles are any indication, those are when the real gains come. So, we're not even there yet.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about on stream yesterday when I was pulling up. I just pulled up like random alts from last cycle, like, Decentraland, and just looking at the chart and saying, like, right now, like, we're in these baby gains area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why selling too early. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the fun part right here. Those straight lines up, those parabolic lines up. So for sure. But then, getting back to BTC and the possibility, let's first, do you think that we're accelerated because of the ETFs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah.
Well, there's there's so many different takes and theories on these things and market cycles and stuff. And I read some of them. There's one, I can't remember his name. He's kind of notorious for being accurate at Bitcoin market cycles. And he thinks that the cycles have continually kind of moved up a little bit every time, like people trying to front run the halving a little bit, or as it approaches the halving. But there's a lot of smart people that they think it's even ambiguous if the halving has an effect or not. So I don't know. I think it does, but it's just, there's a lot of factors at play when it comes to all that stuff.
Yeah, I do think that the more mature that crypto gets, like you said, the more people try to front run it, because the more people familiar with it and understand how these things play out. It's kind of like a bus stop, right? And like on the bus picks up people at the first cycle, and a bunch of people get off, but like 3 remain on. And then it goes on to the second cycle, and like 10 remain on. Goes to the third cycle, and it's like a packed bus. And that's, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. As this thing gets more mature, it gets, the people front run it, and the cyclical nature of it could possibly change. Does getting to a high before the halving affect, you think, your expectation of how long this lasts?
No, not really. I mean, if it start, because I think what people worry, if it started sooner, it could end sooner. Well,
Yeah.
if you look to the last market cycle, had the COVID crash not happened, then maybe we would have kind of kept up anyway. We wouldn't have had that second dip, you know.
Right.
And for people who kind of like saying that we had to have some kind of event like that before the halving, so we're closer to the halving now than we were at that time. So at first, I already said, you know, I've said this a lot of streams, is like you can't count on a black swan. You know, you can't like say, you know, as an unpredictable event. But now you're trying to, people are still sticking to that line of thinking. You're trying to say a black swan. You're like not just count on a black swan, but count on a repeatable black swan.
Yeah.
You know, and now even if you count on a repeatable black swan, well, even that whole narrative is kind of falling apart and down. So like, you know, I'm not saying I can't see lower prices or that, you know, we can't go any lower, but you know, 12K and stuff like that. I think these guys need to move on.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like you said, you know, any drop, I think now before the halving, I think wouldn't be, you know, crazy precipitous. You know, it'd have to be something major to happen to do that. And you can't really predict those things. So, you know, I'm not concerned with major sell-offs. We just had a 20% correction.
Right. I mean, everyone was asking, like, when it was racing up through the 40s, you think it be in like 30s again? And, you know, you know, everybody was like, we'll probably have a pullback. And then when the pullback was here, like we always talk about, Danny, people were greedy to the downside, you know,
yeah,
wonder what it would be. And I said, you know, probably 38.5. That's probably, you're going to find support there.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to see how it bounces and what things look like. And that's what it did, you know.
Because it's, again, the same thing at hand, right? Everyone was expecting, they were fearful of 32, 35 or sub 30, and it never came.
Yeah. I mean, the support was at 38.5. Now, once it bounced from there, then you have to see, okay, is this a pullback and a trend continuation, or is this a leg in a trading range? You know, and that's what separates me from a lot of people is I'm not just looking at a range. I'm not just looking at a head and shoulders. I'm not just looking at a double top. I'm looking at how that's constructed with the candles that make it. And I feel that's what sets me apart from a lot of these other people that, you know, struggle with calling the price action as such. And as far as like cycles, like the greater cycle and stuff like that, you know, I do think, I've said this before, I think this could be like the last great crypto bull run. And part of that is because of the ETFs. And this is going to be interesting to watch as the cycle progresses. Are they going to keep, you know, buying all this Bitcoin? Like, how long is it going to last? You know, if they continue this tens of millions of dollars, whatever, in through the bear market, you know, will that prevent Bitcoin from having this crazy, crazy drop again? You know, I think alts will. I think alts will drop, but will Bitcoin drop like it has in previous bear markets? And I'm not sure. I mean, we'll have to see. I don't know. I'm not saying that it will or it won't. It's just it may not because of the ETFs. I mean, if they're going to keep pumping this money in it every day, then I mean, it's a supply and demand thing. That's why I'm so bullish about this whole upcoming cycle. I mean, I'm not counting my chickens, saying, you know, for sure we're going to 100,000 or more, but this is like the perfect storm from Bitcoin, just from like the most simple supply and demand, you know, basic concepts. You know, the first things you learn if you really want to get serious about this. I mean, Bitcoin is a supply, you know, it's one of the few assets that's like an actual supply. And the supply is getting cut in half. The buyers, you know, from the ETF, is, you know, think of it like whales DCA and every day. It's just like the perfect storm to me. And then it's not going to take much with country adoption. Some of those narratives get rolling. You know, I think the off cycle mimicked the 2013 post bull market much more than the previous bear market cycle. And I think that's what we're seeing leading up to this is more looking like 2017, which was just like a parabolic leg up. So hopefully we'll get that again, man. Hopefully it'll mimic 2017. And I think there's reasons to think that the last bull market was actually weak. A lot of people point to like the stimuluses that came out. I don't think that a whole lot of that was funneling into Bitcoin. There's a lot of data suggests that like the market was extremely, extremely over leveraged. And I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that last bull market will look back and consider it like a weak one, and that it's really just been recharging for this huge parabolic leg up that Bitcoin's going to have.
I hope you're right, buddy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But so what, you know, we talk a lot about strategy and, you know, psychology, and a lot of people who watch the channel always ask about exit strategy. I know it's something that we've discussed before, But do you have like an overall exit strategy for when you plan on exiting the market? Is it like when the portfolio hits a certain point, it's like, let me de-risk a little, or you're going to be looking strictly at candles and charts?
Yeah, pretty much just candles and charts. I mean, there's some things that like Palm AI, like it went up just so massive recently, and I sold 30% of it. There's gonna be some things that like it's just up a lot, and I'm just like, it's just being greedy if I don't take any profit at this point. Well, I hope that's the case anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna do what the chart says or suggests. If the bars are like trending bars on the weekly, then I'm going to stay in. Now, then if you start to get reversals and stuff like that, then you look at it more of like DCA in, DCA out. You don't have to sell the whole bag all at one time at the very. I think that's how a lot of retail people envision it. Like, oh, I'm going to sell. This will be this one sell, and it's going to happen at the top, and I'm going to walk away with this huge bag. And I hope everybody does walk away with a huge bag. But that's not really the best way to do it. And I put this out in a group a lot. Yes, sell something. Sometimes I say, something you're up on a bit, just sell like 5-10% of it. Get comfortable with the feeling of selling. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable that you sell and it goes up a little bit. Get used to those things now, because when it's mania phase here, assuming that happens, it's going to be a lot harder to that's when all the diamond hand talk, people are going to tell you you're never sell, never sell, never sell. And that's when you need to, already have that being able to sell in you, because they build it up to this like big event, right? This holy selling event that this magical time is going to happen and I'm going to retire or whatever. And you shouldn't build it up like that. You should be very casual about selling.
Yeah, 100%, because you're never going to know. You can't see what's to the right of the chart.
Right. Yeah. Taking profit's never a bad thing when you're up a lot. Like taking profit too early in these bull markets, that can be an issue. And that's where knowing TA comes into effect. I tell people, like, instead of trying to sell these green bars on the weekly, wait for a red one. No, you might not catch the exact top, but it's better, the whole way up with Bitcoin. You've seen this because we were together all bear market long, Danny. Mm-hmm. Every time there was a green bar, there were certain people in that Telegram group like, short it. Like, no, these aren't short bars. These are trend bars. We want to go with the move for this. If it's in a range, then you want to do the opposite. If the market is range bound, then you want to sell big green bars and buy big red bars. But if it's trending, then you want to go with those bars, or you at least don't want to sell them.
Yeah. Speaking of Palm AI, it was someone on Twitter, I think Breakface, asked about your thoughts on that. We did really well on Palm.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say like it has great fundamentals, like the token utility and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's a chat bot, Telegram, and WhatsApp. So we've been on it for a while. I liked it just for like kind of the vibe of the project, if I could say. Like, it's got a cool logo.
It's like the palm trees, yeah.
Right. And I feel like they're going to get an exchange listing, because when they did the token migration, I follow a lot of projects, but I believe they said that was the reason for it, is to get an exchange listing. So I could just see it being a trendy, like it's just retail people liking it. Palm with the Google and it's a chat, like it's things that you can like point to and that retail would like. It's not that I think it's like a revolutionary product or anything, to be honest. But yeah, I like it. I sold 30% at just below 4.0. So I got the other 60, which we had initially, when we got on this low. And then it rolled up to like 14 million market cap. We took a lot of us took profit, and then it went down and it stayed down for a little while. And that's one reason I like this move on Palm AI, because I watch these new things on chain all the time. And what's common is they come up usually like 3 to 5 days. Sometimes it can be more if the project's hot, but lots of times it's like 3 to 5 days. They'll have a run up, and then it'll either kind of bull flag or pull back. But kind of the point I'm making is Palm had its initial kind of run up and then retrace. So I feel like so many early investors sold off already. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know that from looking on chain or anything, but because of the way the pattern, it went up a lot. We had already made good gains on it one time, and then for it to come down to those levels again and now ride it up like this, I think part of that is because of the way that the pattern went up like that and then down for so long, that a lot of those early investors, they've already taken profit and they're either gone or they've sold what they want to sell for now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was short-sighted on this one, and I sold it early. I made good profit. I think I
Yeah,
did
we're
like
not
a couple.
short-sighted. Yeah,
Yeah, I did a couple X's. It's all good. I might have put it
yeah.
at the Pal
And
AI.
that was like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So nah, you can't think like that. Like every
yeah,
single thing is a bull market. That's why
oh,
I always ask people, what are your goals?
yeah,
So if your goal is for every single thing you buy to be a into the bull market, oh, that's fine. That's fine. But just know that, and if that's the case, then you shouldn't care about the daily price action at all.
yeah. I know exactly right. And that was just, for me, that was a short-term hold because, like I didn't love the project. I liked that it was an AI bot. I liked that the market cap was low, that it was like, integrated into Telegram. And so I bought it, pumped, sold it.
But it didn't
Ended up
work
pumping
very
more.
well.
What's up?
That was one of our things. Like we used the
Yeah,
bot, and the Palm AI bot
yeah,
didn't work good for us. The coins trend ones, and they don't even have a coin. I think that's the best one.
yeah. How about Pal AI? This is another one that we got super low.
Yeah, I like Pal AI. I feel like technically on chart, some of these coins went up and they broke and closed above structure on the weekly. Pal AI didn't do that. I mean, I would have to look on a chart right this second to see. But
Yeah.
just going into this week, I said that at $5 million market cap, Palatine may not be the worst thing to take some profit on.
Hmm.
But I like Palatine a lot as a project. One thing, correct me if I'm wrong, Danny. I believe they've stated like they're not going to get a central exchange listing.
I don't remember if they said that, to be honest.
I think they're like saying like for sure we are not going to list ourselves on a central
Mm.
exchange. So I mean, you do not that it can't get good gains, but like if I was going to make it one of my main holds because I think it's got that potential. But if it's not going to be on a central exchange and they're telling you that, then
Yeah.
you have to at least put it, at least can take it into account. But I love it as a project. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I hold it, still holding it. Done really well on this one. While we're on the subject of AI, think someone mentioned AI. Well, this is AIT. How about AI tech?
Yeah, I saw my guy season 3. He asked AI
This one-
tech protocol reach market cap.
Yeah.
So that was another one that we were on early. That's done great, man. What's it at now? 61 million.
Yeah.
So it was at 5 million when we put it out on and we put that out as a high conviction play too. A
Yeah.
lot of people printed out a lot off that. As far as how big it can get, I would have to refresh myself on the tokenomics to be honest, season 3. But I tell you what, man, I'll look at it and I'll hit you up on Twitter and let you know. We did do a report on it, so that information is easy for me to access. But I want to see like what's getting diluted over the next
Yeah.
year.
I need to check out their tokenomics. Is on my things to do, but I like the project a lot. I like, they're kind of like a software as a service. They just partnered with Tectum. So I can see them
Yeah.
partnering with these big blockchains and, to integrate their AI protocol and like their, they have like a big kind of like warehouse somewhere in Europe with all their computing power and whatnot. And they, export their power to others and their software and whatnot. So
Yeah, it's a good one for sure. So he was actually talking about a different one, AIT, and that was
yeah, he's
another.
talking about AIT.
Yeah, I found that one too. It's done good. So because AI Tech, we actually do have a report for that. So if you want to know the tokenomics yourself, Danny, you should be able to did it. So you should be able to do it, find pretty easily. But AIT, I should have talked about it with more conviction. It was just going down a lot. And I do sometimes, I don't like to tell people to buy things that are good, even if I think they're about to still go down. Because people don't like losing money. They look at it like I put $500 in this. Now it's like 420 because of what this guy says. So I am a little sensitive about people losing money sometimes and don't speak as high of conviction when something is a low cap and I know it's going to be like real volatile and swing around. But
What
when
are your
it broke out.
Yeah, it broke out. AI went crazy recently. What you expect AI to be this way throughout the cycle and have its pumps throughout?
Well, during the bear market, I thought the biggest two narratives would be gaming and AI. So yeah, but I think you'll start to see things get oversaturated. This is new. All this AI stuff, a lot of it's new. So I think the market's got to figure it out itself. There is no necessarily a for sure blueprint of
Right.
how all these things are going to go. And I think we'll have to feel it out and see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. We got what's up, Pixel in the house. Hodler in the house. What's good?
Like,
Audible.
what's up, guys? And like
Is it
Pixel,
Rush G sleeping?
what's that?
Rush G, he's here back. He's not sleeping.
Like Holler said, people want lower prices, wishing for lower prices now.
Yeah, Pixel.
They're not that long ago. But here's the thing, Pixel. If we got a few red candles and we're down there again, most people will be, saying we're going to go to 32 or whatever, and they still wouldn't buy.
That's exactly right. It's the psychology of things.
Yeah. And as far as buying the dip, because I talk about this a lot, buy the dip is for suckers. Don't just blindly buy the dip. That's what bag holders do. You buy the right dip. And I said this when Bitcoin hit 49K and it rejected quick. Everybody's like, trying to rush out there with funds because there's some red candles. Like, no, do not buy this. Wait.
Yeah, that's something I have to get better at, but I'm learning. I'm still learning here. I've been here for a while, but on Hello, this is one that you called out and said don't buy the dip, and you were, short term you were correct. I think eventually it's going to consolidate and go back up, but buying at the you can't see the candles on here obviously, but there was a sharp candle down for Hello, and you immediately said you didn't like it.
Cut it, get out, get rid of it. Yeah, dump it. And it's not like I'm a sideliner. It's not like I'm like, oh, the market's going down, we're all going to zero. I put the money and I put over half of it in A0. That's up 40%. I put about 30 in it to Manta that I don't know at the current time. It's like 15 to 20% is what it had been up. And then I put some in AWT, which is a gaming it's gaming. That hadn't went up too much yet. It's one I've been keeping an eye on. So Hello's continue to go down, and the things I put in it went up. And that's how I operate. I'm not going to let my money just sit there and back. And is Hello in the only example? Change, routes, A-Tor. A-Tor is just now recovering. I've done taking that money from A-Tor and flipped it over a few times. It is not about being like a trader necessarily. I'm not setting even stop losses or anything like that. It's just about being smart with your money. And when you see something's been in like some kind of uptrend like that, and you get that big violent candle, get out. You can come back to it, but normally it's your money. It'll probably come back with the market, like Danny said. But it's going to put your money to sleep for a while. You're going to sit there bag holding, reading through Twitter comments, trying to reassure yourself that this project's still good. Monero, that was another one I said, don't buy it. No, short it if anything, don't buy it.
What happened with Monero, that call? I pulled it up on chart yesterday.
Binance delisted them.
But when that happened, it wasn't like a crazy drop. But then look at this, the other day. They had already gotten delisted but well before this.
Well, you're looking at the yearly.
Yeah, but this is February. This is last week. They got delisted well over a month ago.
I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I feel it was the Binance. That's what I thought. I remember.
Maybe
we'll look at the 7-day or the 30-day on there.
Or maybe that's when it was officially off. Maybe they warned. Maybe there was put out warning that it was going to get delisted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of Monero, it's a privacy project. It did go up to 10 billion last cycle. And Mask is something that I know is a long hold this cycle for you, for myself. Love the project, love the founder. Does that worry you, being that it's also in the privacy sector, likely not to get on any major SEX, a centralized exchange? And, I think that the project manager is even hesitant about getting on, they prefer DEXs.
He does prefer DEXs, but I don't think he minds me saying this. They're going to list on a central exchange soon. But I know I'm not worried about that for Matt. So I feel like when it comes to privacy, it's more like money laundering type privacy. So I think like the Moneros, the Zcashes, the projects like that. Monero is my favorite project in crypto. Not as like an investment, just like as a project.
As an actual, yeah. What does Monero do again?
Privacy. Like you can, so like if you're worried about taxes and your blockchain activity, put your money in Monero, do a transaction, and then just reset yourself basically.
Does that, Tectum has their soft notes, which are privacy. They tout their privacy. Do you think that's a problem for Tectum?
No, I think that the privacy is more like first of all, it's only happened to one coin, and it's still widely listed. It just got delisted from Binance.
Mm.
And because I do like XMR, I don't care. Like, it's not as an investment because I do like it. I watch it sometimes. It's something that doesn't follow BTC. It just kind of does its own thing. It's kind of strange. Could have just had a lot of liquidity on Binance. You know, I don't know. But there's privacy is a huge part of crypto. They're not going to delist all these privacy projects. I think it has more to do with things like the Moneros, the Zcashes, the ones like that may get fudded real hard. Mask, I don't see them as, just because they're in the privacy sector, I don't see it like as a something that's a worry for them what happened to Monero.
Yeah. And are you still accumulated Mask, or is that bag filled?
No, well, it is, but when it was at 30 cents, I put out, that's how when I DCA, I'm looking for bottom of ranges, bottom of channels, macro support. And then if it does keep going down, well, at least I bought at a lower price and I'm not just blindly buying red candles for 2 years.
For sure. This was on the agenda to talk about. Shane, Devve, thoughts on that new, new project?
Yes, good. So if some people some people watching on Telegram, I know they know who I'm talking about, but there's an influencer called the Crypto Lord, and he's real big. Actually, by Lunar Crush standards, recently he was the #1 influencer in crypto. I mean, that thing changes, their rankings, but he's been as high as #1 recently, and he's big on this project. He loves it. He posts about it a lot, and him and I talk almost every day. And I asked him some requests. People ask, well, ask Crypto Lord what market cap he thinks is going to hit, because he's somebody that's big enough. He's in the know of things that maybe we might not know, like that beyond technical analysis and stuff like that. And he told me a couple billion. He said like a bearish case, 500 million is what he would say, but he thinks that a few billion at least is what he's projecting.
Yeah, I can see it for sure. Those layer ones, first of all, can get way into the billions.
Yeah, exactly. Layer ones are what can get up there in the billions. I don't know enough about the tokenomics to say right now. I'd have to
do a deep dive on the unlocks. So it's gonna be a lot of dilution. There's only 6% in circulating supply right now.
But when's the dilution come? Is it this year?
It's heavily diluted this year. So by the end of 2024, you're looking at 31%, right? In circulating supply. So
5 times supply.
Yeah. So looking at what the circulating supply would be, and then it like really cuts down. Then it's very minimal from there on out.
Got you.
But looking at that circulating supply, I projected out, a $1 billion market cap would be a 10x basically.
Yeah. And that's what I was kind of in my head just now. I was thinking about a 10x. Yeah.
Yeah. Considering dilution. And then you get up to, 2 billion, you're talking about 20x. So I think that 2 billion is very doable.
Yeah. I think everyone should hold, shouldn't go all degen, all super low cap gaming. You need some good projects that have some more substance behind them, like some layer ones, and maybe you don't want to get the Cardano and Solana. So that's why I think things that are on their first market cycle that are layer ones or even layer twos, but Sui, Say, Tia, Devve, Manta, I like that pretty good too. Some of these are good to kind of diversify your bag up.
For sure. And if they catch fire, they can really run into the billions, right? Like, Polkadot was at a $40 billion market cap last cycle.
Yeah, right. And when you look at it from those terms, like,
it's wild.
Yeah, layer ones can really get up there. We'll see if the market. So I look at it 2 ways. So one way you can look at it is another new cycle. There's going to be more money in this cycle, but there's also a lot more projects, and I am slightly worried about the dilution across and saturation across projects a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which is also, another thing is like to understand is that winners sometimes keep on winning. And so it's good to have some of these, the market has confirmed. Like when I think about gaming, you look like Naka, the market's kind of confirmed that up to, I don't know, what is that, like $150 million market cap, retesting. Like the rest of gaming has been kind of like muted, and Naka was just retesting $2. So I think it's good to also, diversify into things that the market has already confirmed.
Yeah, here's one of the biggest mistakes that people make this is how a lot of people end up bag holding, like they do really good on certain projects and then they even sell it. And then they're looking like, what similarly like this can I roll this into? Or what can I put new money into that's similar? And in a bull market, winners tend to keep winning. And now lots of times stuff within that like general sector, or like just say meme coins on AVAX or something like that. You get COP maybe starting to go up, and then you could maybe look for some other plays like that, but they're short-term plays.
Yeah.
It's not something that's going to stick really. So, and I think a lot of people, I saw it in VV, when people that had sold things at the top, then they had gems, and I was guilty of it some myself. They were like, well, what else can pump? What hasn't pumped now?
Yeah.
And like the decon stuff, I ended up buying some of that because I was like, well, it might still pump because if we get interoperability, things go off the platform, this stuff could still do good, and it's still at a decent price, So, just keep in mind in a bull market, winners tend to keep winning, and it's not always the best to try to find the next like hidden gem within that kind of general sector or something just like it. And if you do, then maybe you want to adjust your goals for that if you do.
For sure. Yeah, oftentimes, like the best coin to buy is the one that you already hold. Pink Panther says, will TET lose the fastest blockchain claim? Yeah, it looks, I mean.
that myself.
What's that?
I was thinking that myself. They both kind of claim to be the fastest. Two projects were in. I was thinking that myself.
It's not close because Tectum did 1.2 million transactions per second. If Devve is correct, they said they do 8 million transactions per second.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. This project, it has a lot of it's been out a while. It's been out since like 2017.
Building, right?
Yeah, well, they've had sales too. So there's like token holders from that, which we already talked about. It gets unlocked and stuff. So, but if the unlocks are from those previous sales, it doesn't mean that it will all get dumped on the market either.
Yeah. And DK says Devve equals ESG equals companies, governments, states. Yeah. That's another interesting. I also look at what sets this apart, because like you said, it's a crowded field, in all the sectors, and layer one's no exception. It's a crowded field. And so you need something to set yourself apart, if not fundamentally, then at least through the narrative, right? Because oftentimes these things pump just strictly off narrative in a bull run. And so that ESG narrative for Devve maybe is what sets it apart.
And their mother company is a serious company. Like I think they're based out of Switzerland or something like that. But I think Devve is pretty good overall.
Nice. What are the coins you like now?
I got two in my back pocket that I got to save for the paying folks. They don't like it too much if I drop the secret alpha publicly. A lot of things I had liked. I liked AGI a lot. That went crazy. Mcade is starting to go up now. I put out when Mask was at 30 cents. That was a good buy. Right offhand, TET still isn't at a bad spot at around $30. I don't think that's a bad buy. ML layer, I don't think that's a bad buy at the price it's at now.
Yeah, mint layer.
Games for a living, that's still at a good buy zone in my opinion. I mean, maybe I'm a little biased. I like the project. I don't know. Game Swift, that's another one that isn't too bad. Playable games is dipped down into the 40s today. Anything in the 40s and playable games isn't a bad price.
Does that concern you with playable games being down so much?
No, it went up a whole lot. So
yeah,
things are always a balance. If it went up that much, it's got to take a break before it can really go up again. Nah, it hasn't. It went up to I don't know, a penny or 10 cents. I'm not sure the penny in there. Yeah,
it's down about.
I did sell some there. I had a limit order.
Nice. It's down about 55% off its recent high.
Sounds about right. I mean, I like it. I like playable games a lot. I think it'll do great in the cycle. I think it's one that's cemented in there that it's going to go up with the market. Like playable games, like is going to be like, you want to say like there's a Mount Rushmore with some of these gaming projects. I think that playable has made the cut.
Why do you think that?
It got a lot of attention when it pumped a lot, so a lot of people got on it then, and and it kept pumping. So one thing that really the only way that projects can get communities really involved is to make them money. So a lot of people found out about it, a lot of people got into it, and they made some money as well. So there's a lot of people who are going to follow this for the rest of the bull market. Then just fundamentally, I like the team and all that kind of stuff, the games they come out with, the quality, the tokenomics for a gaming project. I like playable. The reason I like playable is because like at least they release, I think, 13.5 million tokens every single day. And so 6 months from now, you could easily project how many tokens it would be or whatever, just from that standpoint. So you have to think about that from a dilution standpoint too. When that pump happened with it, that was a few months ago now. And there's been quite a few tokens been diluted on the market since then. That's why these gaming projects, if you do get big pumps, then maybe consider taking the 20, 30%, 15%, whatever you come with some profit, so you have something to pull back in. Because these gaming projects, when the narrative gets hot, even if it holds price at a certain level or range or something like that, eventually that dilution comes in. It happened with games for a living too.
Yeah, what I like about playable games is their branding. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because you talk about setting yourself apart from others. Part of that has to do with branding in this, it's a very shallow space that we're in. Like you said, we like the Palm logo on the Palm AI.
Yeah. They're very crypto-ish, like the way they do things and go about it. Like they're very like, I just like they fit the space,
Sure.
Yeah.
They even give like updates on Bitcoin and things like that.
Yeah. It's fun because they got that guy who like you even didn't like back.
Yeah, that guy's what made me not buy it early on.
But now you understand what I was saying. I was like, I actually want to buy it because this guy, because he fits he is a crypto, so I feel like he just like fits the part or whatever.
It was funny, yeah, because that guy, man, he just wasn't professional enough, man. But you're right.
Yeah,
He's very
and he did seem a bit silly or whatever, but that's why I kind of was like, but this is crypto, this isn't like he's representing the video or Apple or something like that for some kind of stock thing or something. Epico's been going up the last few days.
Jordan will be happy to hear that.
Yeah, Epico's had a pretty decent pump. Matter of fact, speaking of Epico, do you mind if I address some of these shots that have been taken at me lately, Danny?
Not at all.
So, I've never said anything about OMI bad. I say what the chart is saying is going to do, and I've been really accurate calling OMI over the years. Matter of fact, and I've never said this to you, Danny, through all the years you know me, has my overall thesis on Bitcoin or OMI been wrong at any time? And you can take a minute to answer that.
No, you've been pretty spot on and accurate and pretty much all your calls as long as I've known you.
And that's not saying that every single thing I've said is great and goes up, but I know how to do technical analysis pretty good. And I don't mind saying this. I don't really have a life, guys. This is my life. I'm married to the game. This is what I do. I have fun after the bull market's over. Even during the bear market, it's Saturday afternoon. People are out here having fun, doing whatever. Where do you think I'm at? I'm right here. I'm here in the lab. I'm reading white papers. I'm doing research. I'm on Morales Money. I'm listening to Twitter Spaces. I'm plugged in. So these guys taking shots at me, like, what's it even about? Because I said Mcade would likely give better bull market gains than OMI. That makes you guys look for OMI, like the moon crowd, look really, really bad. To think that, because I guess you think that it would just give the best gains in the whole market. A 7-year-old project with a $200 million market cap. That doesn't mean it can't give gains and have a successful run. But the baseline probability of a 7-year-old $200 million crypto project, especially as not a layer one, given the best gains in the crypto market, that's crazy. And if it did, great. I'd be happy for people, because I also see comments, he'll be sorry when OMI hits 50 billion market. No, I wouldn't. Why would I be sorry? I'd be happy for my friends who had it. If OMI hits 50 billion market cap, don't worry, I'm not sidelined. I'll be making money elsewhere. And, you know, to say that, to try to call me out on Epico, the stream was January 8th. I never said Epico is like a high conviction play. Jordan likes Epico. I said, yeah, for less than $1 million market cap, Epico is a good play. Epico went up over 100% a few days later. But I don't even take any credit for that because I didn't say it was on chart. I said, you know, it's going to go up. You know, I said it's a good bull market hold. So how in the world can you call me out for that? You know, it doesn't make any sense. And then the same thing for Mcade. My last video, YouTube, please reference that. I said Mcade, there's nothing on chart that's saying it's about to pop off. I always ask people when they ask me something to buy, what are your goals? So if your goals are a good bull market hold, Mcade is that, and it's at a, you know, it's just in a ranging area. So could buy it. Said that for a long time until the other day. And after I said it, what did it do? So, you know, and these are my words that I'm saying. These aren't Danny's words. Me and Danny are cool and everything like that, but these are my words, you know. And these clowns taking shots at me, you know, y'all guys aren't on my level. You're not. And everybody knows it. You made yourself look stupid. Trying to call me out saying, you know, 60 days for trading on me, that's false. So many people have seen that. So many trusted people. And then try to say it was me arbitraging it. No, I did that too. Thanks for pointing that out. I made millions of free on me doing that. While these bag holding clowns, you know, just say buy on me and DCAVV. Anybody can say that. You know, so I don't know what the deal is with me. I mean, obviously they're jealous, but that's the last time I probably addressed it. Well, I don't know. That Dr. Stuffins guy, or whatever his name is, I might actually clap back at him on Twitter because, you know, he kept talking. People are like, you know, just let it go, let it go. You want my attention? Well, guess what? You got it. You know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah. You know, I'm friends with both of you guys. So I understand, though, there was no FUD. So if anyone's not familiar with what Ron's referring to, it was from around the Omiverse, right? We were on there. I think you and I were basically in agreement saying the same thing, is that we like Omi. We think Omi will go up. But there are, you know, if you're allocating new money, there may be newer coins. You'd put your money in newer.
This guy kind of said temper tantrum. What's temper tantrum? Telling it like it is, setting the story straight. Because he's out there saying, you know, I'm lying about it, calling me a LARP and stuff like that. Calling me out on Epico when it went up 100% a few days later. Like, what kind of crazy thing is that to say? So, you know, I let him go. You know, I let it go. I ignored it or whatever. Dude keeps talking. You know, what you want me to do? You know, so.
Yeah, he should apologize, I think, on Twitter.
He can take that up. Yeah, whatever. Don't. I'm not going to be cool about it. You know, it's not that I'm going to sit here and dwell on it or whatever, but no, I don't got nothing for these guys, man. If he were to hit me up or something like that, I'd tell him what to do.
Yeah. And like I said, man, look, there was nothing in that Omiverse that was anything near FUD. And I do think that when you label things as FUD that aren't FUD, it's kind of divisive. And, you know, it does just as much harm as FUD because it's like rips apart at like people in the community and whatnot, and just it's kind of like, what's it called, gatekeeping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a bad look. You know, like the project is unquestionable. To say like, because that's all I said was that Mcade would likely get better. I think, you know, some people got upset because like the reaction I said when like he said when Crypto Rain said $100 billion market cap, and he did say like extreme bullish case. He likes the project. Like it's fine. I don't think he cared really about it. And just other people made a bigger deal out of it. And then it makes other people talk and whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Maybe online afterwards, the fallout of that comment. But it is what it is. And all it is a distraction. So money, eyes on the money and on the charts and moving forward. But speaking of Omi, what are your thoughts on it and its recent price action?
I have to look at a candlestick chart. I haven't looked at it today. Okay, so my prediction on Omi, it's the best crypto in the world. It's nothing will outperform this market. This is unbelievable what I'm seeing here.
Don't let these people get to you, man. That's funny.
No, so I mean, you know, these guys have been clapping at me for a while.
But this is what I don't like. All right, so you're correct. But that's what I mean when I say that it's divisive, right? When you label things as FUD, so you just gave that was a conversation. It was your perspective. It was my perspective too, right? There's nothing bad about Omi. I like Omi. I have Omi. I want it to go to 5 cents, 10 cents. If I'm giving objective, feedback to people or my perspective, there might be better options at these market caps, right? That's not FUD. And when people label it as FUD, it causes division and divisiveness. And
here's another thing, Danny, because you see what I say to people behind the scenes. I've never once told anybody to sell their Omi or all their Omi. Matter of fact, I get asked that question a lot, and I specifically say, no, don't sell all your Omi. No, that would be great. Like, you've held it this long, you get pumped off of some kind of news, you feel terrible. Right. But if you got a large percentage of it, yeah, you probably want to diversify. And one thing I don't understand with Omi, if people think it's going to do like such crazy gains, then you don't need 70-80% of your bag to be that. If it's going to do that good of gains, because it doesn't matter how promising a project is, nothing is for sure. Like, to be sure, people have to at least acknowledge that. And you don't want to be, stuck out with just one project. I would tell anybody never to have 20% max in a single project. And I think it makes you too emotionally close to it. You care too much.
Yeah.
So that would be what I would probably say. But so Omi, we're at resistance. And this is what I said, but this leg up is strong. These candles are good. But this was resistant. You look over to the left, I expected that you're probably going to get some pause here. Now, ultimately, I do think it breaks through this level. Let's see, from current price, if it goes to this swing high, that's almost an 80% gain. That's what I've been saying lately. If it breaks from current price, it is not much in the way of an 80% gain once it can break through this right here. This is the weekly, so I'm gonna go to the monthly, because even going back to like the Uniswap listing over here, like this is part of it, part of the resistance, this right here. So I expect Omi to ultimately go up, but that it might battle this resistance some. And I certainly didn't expect it to break it on the first time. And that's what you're seeing. It's the first time, but this is good. This is what you want to see going up into it. Look, nice green bars. Most of them closing on their high, not really wick, not a whole lot of bar overlap until you got up to the zone. Now you're getting a red candles today. Yeah, 30 minutes. So a small red candle today, you're probably going to see lower prices coming up here in the next few days. You're probably going to see some ranging and lower prices. But ultimately, I think that it's going to break through this level, and that when it does, I honestly, I do think that there's not much in the way of an 80% gain to those that next swing high up there.
Nice. Well, we got about 10 more minutes, I think, with you, right?
Yeah, I can say another 10 minutes.
All right, we'll get to a few questions before then. B-dubs, what are your top holds for the bull run?
It kind of changes because the portfolio balances go up and down and things like that. But I mean, obviously, like we're talking, I like Mcade, I like Mass, I like Gains for a Living, I like Game Swift, I like Tet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like some so A0. I like that.
What is A0?
It's like a blockchain, it's in privacy. So, but it had a good market structure recently. It was like down close to $1, and I was like, this is definitely a good buy. So I bought a lot of it. Manta, I think, is a pretty good layer 2, just like diversifying in like some higher cap layer 1s. Manta's a layer 2, but still Manta, SEI, that's a pretty decent layer 1. I think that'll do well. Though I think, probably without actually looking at a wallet or something, that would be what I'd probably say. Offhand, some good ones.
Make sure you guys smash that like. Ed Jones, predictions for new all-time high for Bitcoin? You have any?
I mean, I think we're on the way to test the previous all-time highs before the halving, or maybe you get there around that. I don't know. I think we're on the way to test them. If I had to say, but I'm not saying this based off any price action, just like if I had to like kind of speculate out based off what I've seen in the past, I would say it'll go up to the all-time high, get rejected, kind of like it did at 50. We'll probably have to touch it a few times, 3, 4, 5 times, and then hopefully break through. Matter of fact, there's a guy at the barbershop today. He told me that he bought it. He told me he bought Bitcoin, and he had negative sentiments about it. I asked him when he buy it, October 2021. He said that's exactly when I bought it. How'd you know? And he said, so because like crypto. So today he said he had checked his balance recently. He said, hey, that Bitcoin is getting close to back where I had bought it at. He's like, it's getting not too far. He's like, I can't wait till it gets back up there to sell it.
Yeah, that's what this retail.
So there's a lot of people, not a lot. I mean, there's people that are going to do that. There's going to be traders that are going to look at it as macro resistance, that they're going to be trading off of it and wanting to either take profit or short there. And then there's going to be a lot of retail, some retail probably that got it last cycle, and they're going to want to sell because they think it's all a scam and it's finally breaking even on their money.
Yeah. In terms of like where it goes, I really don't, I'm of different minds. I think like 100,000 is a big psychological level and going to be difficult to breach it. But I think, I don't know, I see like 150.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but it could get up there, man. I really think it's kind of the perfect storm brewing for Bitcoin, so.
Especially with then throwing like rate cuts and, just throwing fuel on the fire of the economy and whatnot heading into the election year.
Yeah, election year, that's another thing. See, and then you get different perspective about rate cuts because then like a bear will say, no, rate cuts are bad for the market. And then some people say they're good for the market. I think they're good for
yeah, but the reason why historically rate cuts are bad for the market is because typically the Fed cuts rates after they've broken something in the economy, right? So you raise interest rates in order to cool off the economy like they've done now, but then the economy breaks and then you have to cut rates to just prop the economy back up. So it's not necessarily the rate cuts, but it's the breaking of the economy.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I've always thought rate cuts were good. I mean, or at least short to midterm, like when it goes down, and that's all, we can make a lot of money before, because I looked at some data like this before, and sometimes these rate cuts happen. It's still a long time before like those lows come, like a year or more, years even sometimes. So like we could still fit in a crypto bull run, and like some of these people saying rate cuts will be bad down the road, like that could still happen, but we could still fit the crypto bull run before that maybe.
Yeah. So, I think there's a lot of fear that rate cuts indicate a recession, right? And but like you said, there are predictors of recession, and one of them is like the inverted yield curve, but oftentimes it takes a couple of years to play out.
Yeah, those macro indicators take a long. That was my whole thing going into the bull market, or or in bear market, whatever you want to say. A lot of these things about yield curves and rates, and I looked into it, and I was okay with everything.
Yeah. Base Lab asks OZK. We were just talking about this in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I actually went to sell it, but
gas is high,
and I couldn't because my MetaMask wallet wasn't reading it. Like when I went to Uniswap, it wasn't. I connected my wallet and it wasn't reading that I had OZK. It's weird.
I mean, I think it's an okay project and everything. I think it's worth a flyer or whatever, but I don't like the token migration, and I don't like sidelining my money like that. I don't know. Best I can say, if it has a little bit of a pump and gas is low, then I will dump it probably, and then use the money for something else.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very small bag of it, but still, I would like to use that money for something else.
3 buys on it, I think, like 3 DCA buys on it.
Yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button. Do you want to, before we go, do you want to give people a word about the Telegram?
Sure. If anybody's not familiar, we got a Telegram, the private Telegram that's $250 for the rest of the year. We do all ways to make money in crypto, all the things that I'm doing. Matter of fact, I'm going to start copy trading my MEXC account up there. So, well, if you're under my link, you'll be able to follow it anyway. Yeah, all things to make money crypto. We do NFTs, airdrops. It's not just me. It's 2 other guys that are pro level traders. Danny, he's in there as well. We really try to offer a lot for that $250. We haven't got any complaints so far with anybody being unhappy with the price or anything like that. That's why we got this team approach, because we're really trying to offer a lot from a lot of different crypto experts or people in the space along, however you want to say it. So yeah, anybody interested, hit Danny up. Danny's the main admin. I also have a link on my Twitter page. That's like an automatic Telegram onboarding channel. So yeah, anybody who's interested, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, and there's always You always bring a lot to the table in these streams. So I want to thank you for coming through once again. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Ron, follow him on X, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Later, guys.